Hey everyone, I am here. I think I'm here. Oh my gosh. I'm going to give, I don't even know what time it is. It's almost 2:30 in the afternoon, Pacific time. We were in another time. Now we're in this time. Uh, this is a last minute deal. I had to write something. I couldn't write something because the time change, everything going on. My mind's still a little bit whatever. So I'll give things just a little bit to get charged up here. Let me have some of my afternoon tea. And anyhow, it's all good. Okay, so I know this is Friday, and this is kind of an odd time for most to uh, drop in, but I had to do this. I'm telling you, just outrageous, crazy stuff is going on uh, in a good way. I mean, sometimes the conflict is a bit challenging, but it is a good way. So I'm just going to give at least a little time to drop in and weigh in on what I'm about ready to tell you. I'm telling you, this stuff is crazy, like crazy, crazy. Um, Once I kind of get acclimated, I'm headed to Orlando this coming Thursday. This is Friday, so next Thursday, yeah, flying out. Hey, Carrie, great to see you. Thanks for dropping in. I feel like I feel like I'm totally in touch, but out of touch. You know how it is when you're in a different area. In our case, we just got back from Korea, from South Korea. Had an awesome time there. I've been sharing some things going on, and yeah, just crazy stuff. In fact, once I get back from, first of all, let me say we're doing a weekend meeting here in Yakima at the Holiday Inn, and I'm going to unpack some of this stuff. I call it Outlander's Mystical Blocks. That's my new title for this angel that I encountered, and he had some blocks stacked up, but I'm going to share just a little bit about that and get into some of this crazy stuff that just happened or that's going on right now. And I'm unshaven. I've had very little sleep. I was trying to write some things to share this while it was fresh in my spirit, and I was, kind of seeing cross-eyed and thought, oh, I just can't do this. So even had to put my readers on because my eyes are like, blurring out on me. Anyhow, just crazy. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. Just share, you know, let people know because it's just really off the charts. So first of all, we're going to get together this Sunday on the 22nd. The 22nd, I think it's the 22nd on a Holiday Inn, in Yakima, beginning at 10 a.m. Patricia Jarman is an awesome worship person, is going to be with us, and we're going to be worshiping together. She's just very intent. She's done years past, she's been like in Broadway, like New York Broadway stuff. I mean, she's just amazing. So her and her hubby's going to be with us, and we're looking forward to that. And anyhow, so that's going to be a great time. And so we're going to get into some intense prophetic realms of worshiping, and then I'm going to unload some things. But let's see if I can kind of get my bearings here. Hey, awesome. Annette from Redmond. So if I sound a little bit spacey, I apologize in advance, but I'm going to do this as quick as I can. And again, just, share this with your friends or whatever. The ones that, it'll kind of probably freak some people out, but that's what we do. So just a real quick thing. I'm not going to go into all the details. I've done this a couple times. I had an encounter with an angel when I was in South Korea, named Outlander. And as I mentioned before, his name means rare, outlandish, historic, unusual. And one of the things I discovered, I said, I'm a little bit slow sometimes when it comes to certain things, going on in the spirit. But Outlander's actually been with me for a long time. And I know wisdom, understanding, all of those, are with us as well. But Outlander's like personally assigned to me. I get it now. And because I really get these crazy outlandish things about the future and stuff just unfolding. So I said that he was stacking what I'm now calling these mystical blocks that relate to the future. And let me just say this, when I'm going into this, I don't want to ever come across like I'm on this island by myself. I know many of you that will be viewing this, you're getting all kinds of things. Hey, Patty, you're getting all kinds of insight, perceptions about the future. A lot of it is we're getting it from different angles, different perspectives, but a lot of times it's pretty much in the same saddle, so to speak. So it just happens differently with me. And anyhow, I just wanted to clear that up. So historical unusual things. That was one of the blocks. That block was titled Uncommon. And another block was creational invites, and I've spoken about that, about inviting creation to respond to the manifestation of the sons of God. We're coming into that period in a very strong way, so crazy things are about ready to unfold. And so you can intentionally invite creation to respond to that glory. I literally believe that creation waits for an invite, so to speak. And we do, like I mentioned before, we do that with the Holy Spirit. We invite you, that type of thing. Not that he's ever uninvited. We have to be sure that we understand that. It's not like we leave a meeting and then, okay, you can go back to what you were doing. It's an acknowledgement. We acknowledge you here, and so we just invite you. And I'm sure you understand that. And then the third block, which is what I'm going to share with you really quick because of something that just came out in the news. The third block was the alteration and origin of physics. Now, that's a huge block, right? But I'm telling you, this is a real deal. So I'm going to read to you. I'm looking at a thing here I just copied, and then I'm going to share just a little paragraph, or a couple paragraphs out of the book I wrote. This one here, Guardians, I know it's backwards on the camera, but Guardians of Spiritual Maturity. Crazy stuff the Lord has given me about some things unfolding. I'm about ready to read you something out of here that just happened, and I'm just like, I know, I can prophetically speak these things about the future, and they just seem out there. And I have to be honest, it's not like, oh yeah, like firing your gun and go, yeah, easy deal. I'm just astounded. I really am. I see this stuff happening. I'm going, what? Because you just never know how something is actually going to happen or take place until it actually does. And even if I see something that I'm like, oh, I see that exactly how it's going to be, it's still got sides and colors to it that I just never expected. So here's the latest news thing that was released, and this is still kind of tied into those two neutron stars that collided. But listen to what they say. Astronomers unlocked one of the universe's best kept secrets. Since the 50s, scientists have wondered, where do most of the elements in the periodic table come from? We know that elements like carbon, oxygen, nitrogen are forged in the hot, dense cores of massive stars. But even stars aren't powerful enough to create heavy elements like silver, gold, and cesium. I think I'm saying that right. But it turns out the origin of 2/3 of the periodic table is unconfirmed. Now, a single event has given scientists a vital clue, and it's talking about its origin, like knowing where this comes from. Now, check this out. This is crazy. I'm surprised I'm even able to do this. I'm telling you, my mind is just really boggy from the flight and just all the stuff we've been doing. So this is that book, Guardians of Spiritual Maturity, I wrote, and one of the titles in this book is Guardians of the Elements. So Lord's showing me about the elements, the things, how they were going to change, the supernatural part of it, all this stuff. So this is a couple chapters out of that. And I wrote, in previous articles and videos, I shared prophetic insight the Lord gave to me regarding the periodic table of elements. There are approximately 118 elements listed, a few of which have been added because of chemical manipulation. In other words, they made them up. I believe the Lord has been repeatedly telling me the periodic table will be redefined. Now, listen to this. Over the last number of years, by the Spirit, I have seen the minerals/elements in the ground and in the heavens above, whose origin has yet been discovered. Over the last few years, all over the world, the appearing of gemstones have become an increasing supernatural phenomena in the church. And that's, gemstones appearing. We've been in meetings where gemstones just appear. It's just a crazy thing. This particular sign and wonder is part of a major future upset in the current periodic table, primarily because gemologists say the substance of these stones cannot be identified. In addition, in the future, the current chart of elements will begin to change simply because of new discoveries and the supernatural alteration of various metals of lesser value being converted into metals of much greater value, some of which have no record. Now, let me just explain some of this. I know this is crazy, but you see, there's two things happening. One is the Lord was saying, get ready, because you're about ready to discover like where origin of metals, where actually things come from. And in that sense, it's going to redefine the table of elements, right? The periodic table of elements. It's going to redefine it. Listen, right now it's happening. They're discovering now about gold and platinum and whatever the other thing was, cesium. And so they're like, wow, we know its origin. And that's just a piece. I'm just sharing a piece of what's really going on. And so that's one side of it. The other is the elements actually being altered. So in this book, Guardians of Spiritual Maturity, and I talk about how Jesus was able to alter the substance of certain things. Literally, the laws of physics would be changed, right? Like changing water into wine. Elisha the prophet changing certain elements of his day. Even the axe, that landed, the axe head that landed in the water and then floated to the top. That's a law of physics that is changed, that causes a heavy metal to suddenly float, right? My point is that not only are we entering, a barrier has been broken, so we've entered into this huge discovery of all these things. This is just a gateway that's opened up now, and it's going to continue to unfold in a powerful way. But it also means that we're coming into the supernatural revelation, manifestation, that you're going to begin to see things altered. So imagine different things that literally need to be changed or altered in the moment. I mean, this is crazy. And I liken it to just like when people are even getting healed, that literally an organ is altered, like it's literally transformed. It goes from a bad organ to a super healthy organ. On goes the story. I'm just telling you, something in the spirit has changed. And I felt that like about 3-4 weeks ago, that we were building up to something, and I realized that a lot of stuff that has been going on the earth, all of the intensity of storms and the things happen in Vegas and other situations, and I said this. I said, as horrible as this is, that all things are going to work together for the good to those who love God, called according to his purpose. So, in other words, God's going to take this thing and flip it on its head. He never allows the enemy to walk away and have the last whatever. He's flipping this thing on the head. And I'm telling you that right now something powerful is beginning to happen. And so there is a huge curtain. It reminds me like the veil literally being rent in two. and then Jesus goes into this other realm and says, come and follow me. That's the reality of what's going on. So let me just say this too, that another thing I noticed, sometimes I wrestle with, you believe certain things, they're in your heart, you're carrying them, and I'm like, I know this is true, I know this is crazy, I know this is outlandish, but I believe I'm hearing by the Spirit of the Lord, and you just stay in that, and all of a sudden, one event flips it all around. And this is the prophetic word I just want to release upon you right now. Many of you have been leaning into certain things, and I think the enemy's even been trying to play with your heart, play with your head. Like, oh no, this isn't going to be like you've really felt like deep within. No, this is, and I'm moving into this, and it seems like you go into a season, call it dryness, call it whatever you want, where it just doesn't seem like it's coming together, and all of a sudden, in a moment, in the twinkling, literally, of an eye, everything suddenly changes. And so even these events that go on the heavens above, the single events, this collide that happened way back when, years back, that all of a sudden manifests in this moment, that single event literally, historically, causes a shift and opens up a gateway and brings, in this case, the scientific world, the laws of the world of physics into this new reality of where things, their origin, what's going on. I mean, we know the origin is God, but you understand what I'm saying? All of these things just completely began to manifest itself in a way most never dreamed. I know that's what's happening with you. I believe it. I sense it. I've been feeling in the spirit that these treasures are in earthen vessels. These treasures consist of revelation, of understanding, of knowledge that you carry, maybe future inventions, whatever the case is, something that is going on in you. And all of a sudden, there's a moment, something happens, it shifts, and the very thing that you carried, that have been carrying in you, it becomes apparent. So let me just say that we are coming into an apparent moment. And this angel, Outlander, that is obviously been revealing outlandish things to me for some time, it's like all of a sudden these blocks that he's showing me, and I'm going to share more about these blocks that I saw stacked, and I realize now the reason these blocks were revealed to me, because it is the unfolding. It is the manifestation of them. And so I'm going to get more into this in the future, but I just felt like it's too much, really too much to say it all in one setting. So I'm just unstacking them one at a time, literally as things happen. So let me just encourage you to just keep leaning in by the Spirit with patience, with trust, with faith, that the thing that you carry is valuable, it's important, and God is unpacking it. This treasure that is in you is destined to become visible. I'm just seeing confirmations right now that are going to come to your doorstep, that are going to rise up in your dreams, that are going to be revealed in your heart, maybe words, prophetic words of affirmation from other people, just many, many ways, avenues for God to communicate not only to you, but to the world around you, that yes, you're hearing from heaven. Yes, these things are coming together. Now, mind you, I'm one of those people. I'm a glorious perspective individual. I'm always leaning into the glory of tomorrow. Even if I see something that is dark or whatever, I'm squeezing that thing out with the revelation, with the glory of God. So I take more of that mind of Moses and Abraham. I mean, just in the sense where God's going to do something horrific or not so good. And they're like, wait a minute, God, wait. We know your intentions. We know your desire. We know how you feel about your people. And so they contend over this particular thing. And God's like, yes, like he found delight in Moses standing in that gap, in that place, Abraham. But what if there's one? Okay, if there's one. That's the heart of God. We're leaning into it. I'm telling you, there is something intense that is going on. And I'm looking forward to being in Florida next week to unpack more of these things with Dave and Rhonda Raymer over there in Glory Church. It's funny, we were just in a Glory Church in South Korea. But this is really a time where all of these things are just unfolding in a very, very powerful way. So again, I was writing this, some of this stuff I wrote in this book, just thinking, this is crazy. And this is what I've learned. There's groups and tribes of people, right? They're tribal around a certain understanding, revelation. That's what they look at. So they gravitate to that. So there are tribes and nations of people in the kingdom that are, they have different flavors. And obviously, there's a lot of tribes out there that the flavor that I carry concerning the future, like stuff like this, they're like, that's just crazy. But there's a tribe of people that are in tune with that and are wanting to be a part of that, wanting to nurture that. This, to me, this is breaking the gift of knowledge, breaking the barrier of knowledge. I love the gift of knowledge. I'm operating in it all the time, wherever I go. But I want to break that barrier. I just want to live as a son. I don't want, even the greatest gifting can be a limitation if it doesn't afford you the opportunity to just walk in your sonship. So to me, all those areas of gifting, all of that is a part of, is an addition to my sonship in Jesus Christ. So I believe this is the longing, this is the groaning of creation, all creation. The manifestation of the sons and daughters of God, because it's both male and female in the Hebrew, the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God to come into view. So I just want to encourage you and just declare to you that God is about ready to turn things upside down, and just in a very powerful way. He's literally changing the elements of the circumstance of your life. That periodic table of elements is changing. Who would have thunk? Anyhow, okay. So I'm just a little bit out there. I mean, just my mind's just really foggy. But so I hope I didn't sound scattered. Anyhow, thank you for dropping in. Just share this to your friends and stuff. And the reason I like getting this shared is because I want people to entertain things that are outside of the box. And again, that's the mission of this angel called Outlander. And I know he's not just assigned to me. He's assigned to whoever will lean into this, just like the gift of healing, right? There's multiple angels that function in that, release that power. And so if you lean into that, Outlander's there to show you things that are outlandish. They're rare, but they're like rare gems and rare stones. That's the treasure that you have in you. So these rare stones, these rare gems, these unusual things are about ready to be unpacked in a very powerful and glorious way, not just in this nation, but in many nations of the world. So you are amazing, and love you guys, and just thank you for taking the time to drop in. So I will talk to you soon. And if don't forget, we're having a meeting. It's going to be live on what do you call that, on Facebook, other stuff. So you can always catch it later if you have other places, churches that you attend and stuff. But you won't want to miss it, because I have just a lot of great stuff, fun stuff that we're going to unpack. And it's just really a game change in the sense of where we're at and what's going on. All right. Blessings to all of you. Love you. Bye.